Welcome back to the archives, traveler. The Sun Vault was meant to be the safest place in the Meridian, a fortress carved into the frozen mountains, a sanctuary protected by 50,000 soldiers, the last bastion of hope. It was not safe. Some mysteries announce themselves with silence, and silence, traveler, is the loudest warning of all. The forest gave way to open ground, and there, rising before them, was the Sun Vault. Massive stone doors carved into the mountainside, ancient, weathered, covered in runes that glowed faintly blue and gold. Wards laid down centuries ago to protect what lay within. To the right, visible through the trees, stood the fortress of the Silent Aberrant Company. Walls of stone and ice, towers crowned with flame. A magical barrier shimmered over the entire structure, pulsing with arcane energy. That was where the army lived, where 50,000 soldiers, mages, families, and smiths made their home. But the quartet was not going there. They were being led to the Sun Vault itself, the entrance, and something was wrong. There should have been hundreds of guards, patrols, sentries, checkpoints. There were six. 6 soldiers stood at the gates, silent, motionless, eyes forward. The commander of the ship's escort stepped forward. He saluted, announced his company, stated his purpose. The guards did not respond. They simply opened the doors. No questions, no acknowledgement, no words. The quartet exchanged glances. Valory's hand drifted toward her bow. Tharok shifted his shield. The brothers' gauntlets pulsed faintly. Something was wrong. But the doors were open, and the path led inward. They entered. The interior of the Sun Vault was vast, grand corridors carved from stone, descending into the mountain. The walls were lined with braziers that burned with cold blue flame. The ceiling arched high above, tall enough for giants. This place had been built to house thousands, to protect the armistice, to serve as the last line of defense against the sovereigns. But it was empty. The quartet walked in silence. Their footsteps echoed. Behind them, the commander's soldiers followed. Ahead, a single escort, one of the Sun Vault's guards, led the way. He did not speak, did not look back, just walked. The corridors should have been filled with activity, soldiers drilling, mages working on wards, messengers running reports. Instead, there was nothing. Maybe 100 soldiers visible in total, scattered, standing at posts, silent, unmoving. Kaelister scanned the halls. This didn't make sense. Where was everyone? Lear's mind raced. Had they deployed? Was there an attack elsewhere? Another city under siege? Tharok's grip tightened on his glaive. His instinct screamed danger. Valory's eyes swept every shadow, every corner, searching for threats. But there was nothing, just silence. The escort led them deeper, down. The corridors descended into the heart of the mountain. The commander walked beside the quartet. He assumed they were being taken to the central hall, to be briefed, to report on the spire of Rue, to coordinate. But no one had said a word. Not the guards at the gate, not the soldiers in the halls, not the escort leading them. Just silence. And the deeper they went, the heavier the silence became. The corridors grew wider. The braziers burned brighter. They were approaching something important. Ahead, Massive doors loomed, carved from stone, etched with symbols of light and war. The central hall. The escort stopped, placed his hand on the door, and pushed. The doors swung open. The hall was enormous, a cathedral carved from the mountain itself. Pillars rose like trees of stone. The ceiling was lost in shadow. And at the center, standing in perfect formation, were 60 soldiers, rows of them, armored, armed, facing forward. At the head of the formation stood a figure, taller, more ornate armor, the leader. The quartet stepped through the threshold, and then, as one, every soldier turned. 60 heads, 60 pairs of eyes, all focused on the quartet. No words, no movement, just staring. The leader turned as well, slowly, deliberately, and said nothing. The silence was deafening. The quartet froze. Kaelister's hand moved to his sword. Lear's fingers crackled with arcane energy. Tharok raised his shield. Valory's bow shimmered, an arrow ready to form. But the soldiers did not attack. They just stood, watching. And then something unexpected happened. The leader at the head of the formation tilted his head, slowly, like a puppet on strings. The archives record this as a moment of realization. The Sun Vault was not a sanctuary. Is this a trap? 50,000 soldiers did not vanish. They did not deploy. They were here? Something had taken them. Something had bent them. Something had turned the greatest military force in the Meridian into silent, staring puppets. And the quartet stood in the center of it all. Surrounded, outnumbered, watched. The journey to the Sun Vault was over, but the nightmare had just begun. The archives are now closed.